The fourth season of From feels like being locked in a basement with a TV, a pot of cold macaroni, and a guy who has been promising to show you an elephant vanishing trick for 3 years. But instead of an elephant, he pulls out a dead guinea pig and starts trauma dumping about his childhood. This show isn't scary anymore. It's exhausting. It looks like an endless line at the DMV where the monsters smile at you from the reception desk and the writers sit in the doctor's office prescribing new mysteries instead of actual pills. When From first came out, it had the smell of good old-fashioned television madness. A town with no exit. A forest that looked like the stomach of a dead god. People trapped between life, death, and terrible cell service. At night, these creatures with those creepy, overly polite smiles of 1950s door-to-door salesmen show up. They tap on the windows so gently, as if they brought you a pie. And then they turn the living room into a human butcher shop. The first season worked perfectly. The atmosphere was crushing. The mysteries kept you hooked. You wanted to dissect every symbol, every line of dialogue, every dead crow on the roof. It felt like a massive jigsaw puzzle was waiting ahead. As it turned out, the puzzle was drawn on toilet paper, and the writers ate half the pieces along the way. The fourth season has officially turned the show into a museum of useless conversations. The characters gather in interest groups just to talk about the wind. One saw a tree. The second heard a voice. The third is crying again. The fourth is mysteriously silent for so long, as if the nuclear launch codes are kept inside him. Though a minute later it turns out he just remembered a childhood nursery rhyme. Every episode feels like a corporate Zoom call of people who forgot why they logged in. The dialogues stretch out like chewing gum stuck under a school desk. You sit there waiting for literally anything, any hint, any specifics. Instead, the show throws in another symbol on the wall, another ghost child, and another vision shot like the cameraman fell into a bucket of Vaseline. The funniest part is that the creators are still pretending they have a grand plan. This legendary plan already resembles a grandpa's garage, where boxes, skis, an old TV, and a tractor engine have been lying around for 30 years. Everyone knows it's pure chaos inside, but the owner keeps whispering, "Don't touch it, there's a system in there." There is no system in From. There is only an endless accumulation of weirdness. Today, it's numbers on the wall. Tomorrow, it's spiders. The day after tomorrow, someone hears a radio station from hell. In a week, a kid with the dead black eyes of a deep-sea fish will show up. There are no answers. There are only new boxes labeled "Open Later." For 4 seasons now, the audience has been fed smoke, and fans keep looking for deep meaning in every single stool. Fan theories in general deserve a separate monument made of styrofoam and human exhaustion. The absolute favorite version goes, "The town is purgatory." Brilliant. People are trapped in a weird place and suffering. Television truly hasn't seen anything like this since literally every other mystery drama. The next theory claims it's a military experiment. Of course, because the US military just loves creating forest ghouls with the smiles of sleazy used car salesmen. Then there's the simulation theory. This is where it gets beautiful. I can just picture the programmer who creates a virtual world, and the first things he adds are a goat, a killer tree, and a guy talking to a light bulb. Some are convinced it's all connected to an ancient deity. Others scream about time loops. The most desperate ones are waiting for a crossover with Lost,
All that's left is to find out that the monsters actually work for Satan's mortgage department. And yet, the show had immense potential.
The town looked like a living nightmare. The monsters worked brilliantly. In the early seasons, they genuinely made your skin crawl. Those smiles, the slow steps, the calm voices. They don't run, they don't growl. They just walk toward you like debt collectors after 3 cups of chamomile tea. But now, even the monsters are tired. It feels like any moment now they'll start asking the writers themselves when the answers are finally coming. The main problem with the season is that the fear is gone. Only the mechanics are left. Someone went out at night again. Someone broke the rules again. Someone had a meltdown in the barn again. This isn't horror anymore. It's a rural version of office routine. Boyd used to look like a man capable of carrying the story on his back. Now he walks around with the face of a tired mall security guard, constantly dropping lines on the level of, "We have to stick together. Thank you, Captain Obvious." Tabitha has completely transformed into a walking expression of a chronic migraine. Victor, who was once presented as the living archive of this hell, now resembles a lost tourist at an esoteric festival. Only Jade is still trying to act like a person with a brain. But the writers are gradually boiling him, too, in a pot of narrative nonsense. The most tragicomic thing happens with the perception of time. Over 4 seasons, the characters seem to have lived through, maybe, a week and a half. The show paces in place so diligently, as if it's terrified of accidentally moving toward the resolution. The viewers are aging faster than the plot develops. A little longer, and the finale will be watched by people with gray beards and high blood pressure. The creators stretch the rubber with such zeal, as if they are trying to cover the entire Canadian forest with it. And yet, it's hard to quit. That's the main trick of From. The show has become a toxic relationship. You know you're being gaslit. You see the script bursting at the seams. You watch characters withhold information purely for the sake of artificial suspense. But you keep watching because a little hungry demon of hope sits inside you. It whispers, maybe the next episode will explain everything. Maybe now the puzzle will come together. Maybe the writers haven't lost their minds completely. And then a new episode drops, where people stare at each other in a barn for 20 minutes. Someone hears a mysterious phone call, and another symbol appears on the screen, looking like instructions for assembling some cursed IKEA furniture from hell. And you sit in front of your monitor again, like a fisherman who has been catching a boot for the 4th year in a row, but keeps believing in the golden carp. The 4th season is especially hilarious because of how much the characters have stopped caring about their own salvation. An apocalyptic circus is happening in the town, and the characters are discussing relationships, grievances, and moral dilemmas with the faces of people stuck at a boring family dinner. Nobody shares information properly. One saw a mystical tunnel and stays silent. Another met a ghost and decided not to tell anyone. A third found symbols and hid them so carefully as if it's a PIN code to a bank account. These people exist not as residents of a deadly trap, but as participants in a very cheap reality TV show where the grand prize consists of depression and a monster bite. Sometimes it feels like the show needs one angry character who would walk into the main hall and scream, "All right, everyone shut up and tell me every single weird thing that happened in the last 24 hours. But there is no such hero. There is only an endless carousel of omissions. The writers use secrets like a cheap energy drink. You chug a can, it gets noisy, and an hour later, you're empty again. That's why each new episode brings a strange feeling. It's like opening a beautiful box, inside of which lies another box, then another, then another. And in the finale, you find a note. Thanks for watching. Answers will come later. Visually, the season has also started to resemble the dream of a person who fell asleep near the TV after 3 days of insomnia. Dark corridors, blue filters, faces lit by a flashlight. A forest that looks like a set for a music video by a depressed country band. Sometimes the shots actually work. That same sticky anxiety appears. The air thickens. The night starts to look alive. But then another conversation scene kills the atmosphere faster than a monster with claws. The tension here crashes against the dialogue like a luxury car into a concrete wall. The saddest part is that people keep loving this show not because of what it has become, but because of the memories of what it could have been. The promise of a great mystery still lives in your hand. A huge, terrifying, well-thought-out construction. Only the 4th season already sounds like a confession. Nobody thought anything through. The authors are just running forward with a bag of mysteries and scattering them along the way, hoping that the viewers themselves will build a temple of meaning out of random bricks, and the audience builds it. They complain, they argue, they theorize. Then they turn on a new episode and get another plate of fog with a side of meaningful stares. A beautiful ride. The most expensive club for people who love to suffer in front of the screen since the finale of Game of Thrones. Paradoxically, it's this shameless dragging out that makes From the main screaming hype of the week. People hate the show with such passion, as if it stole their youth and hid it in a basement along with the answers. Some demand the show be canceled. Others defend it as a cult mystery of a generation. Others rewatch episodes frame by frame, looking for hidden meaning in the pattern on a mug. Meanwhile, the show sits quietly in the middle of this madness, smiles with its monster smile, and whispers, "Just one more season." This isn't television anymore. This is a psychological experiment on the audience's patience. And the scariest part is that the experiment works perfectly. The season finale will almost certainly end with a hint, a strange noise from the forest, and a camera slowly crawling away into the darkness. The viewers will swear to quit the show again. Then the teaser for the 5th season will drop, and everyone will come back. Because From turned into a television swamp a long time ago, where you get sucked in not by the quality, but by a morbid desire to one day hear at least one normal answer.